Do you ever have bad moods? Do you ever go through periods where you feel kind of more reactive, maybe more sensitive, maybe more emotionally sensitive? Do you ever go through periods where your mind is very negatively inclined? Just kind of the chatter is like it's looking for something to feel bad about. Well, I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about what this is, why it happens, and how we can actually navigate these moments in time more consciously. So, to start off with, we want to consider our past pain. We want to remember that the majority of us are walking around in this physical world carrying a collection of past pain, otherwise known as trauma. So this is pain that we've experienced in the past that we have not properly processed and released. And what it does is that it haunts us, and it haunts us in many, many ways. Sometimes it can come back to haunt us in very obvious ways when we are like triggered, something in our external world triggers us. Sometimes it can come back in more subtle ways as well. So today I want to talk about those more subtle ways. Eckhart Tolle has created a concept whereby he actually refers to this collection, this reservoir of past pain, as being the pain body. It's like a body in and of itself, a whole entity in and of itself that kind of lives within us. So Tolle explains the pain body to have two states. One whereby it is dormant, where it kind of just dwells inside of us. And then the other where it is active, where it rises up to the surface and it kind of causes havoc in our lives, really takes us over. We start to see the world through the coloring of our pain body, and it starts to infiltrate our thoughts. The way that it actually seeks to survive is through negativity, through actual emotional energy, like negative emotional energy. So when the pain body is at the surface, it actually seeks situations and thoughts and triggers that actually activate these negative emotions, allowing it to thrive and continue to survive, basically. So how do we work with the pain body? Well, just like everything, it seems, on our path, it's all about awareness, being aware of when that pain body is at the surface, being conscious of it, so that we can realize that it is working through our mind, that our past pain is actually at the surface, kind of haunting us. And it's influencing the way that we think, it's influencing our actions and behaviors, and then creating this emotional reaction. We want to be aware of all of this so that we can actually disidentify from it, so that we can really see it for what it is, which is separate from who we actually are. You see, it's like this identification with that pain body that really keeps us lost in the illusion, and of course allows us to actually perpetuate it and allow it to thrive. So how can we tell when the pain body is at the surface? Well, usually, if you're having an intense emotional reaction to something that happens in your external world, you might be getting flashbacks about times once had, memories all coming up. That's a clear sign that you're in your pain body. And that's an obvious sign that you're in your pain body. But sometimes it can also rise to the top, maybe unprovoked, just kind of looking for trouble, basically. And that can be quite subtle, and it can be a little bit difficult to recognize. So in some more subtle instances of where it might be at the surface, you want to look at any repetitive negative thinking. Is the mind looking for something to feel bad about and maybe thinking incessantly about the past and the future worries and concerns? When yesterday we were fine, our life was all fine and dandy yesterday, and then suddenly today, oh my gosh, my life is terrible. You might just wake up in a bad mood for no reason. If you're triggered more easily, this happens if we're like hangry, they call it. I think they call it hangry, where you're angry and you're hungry. It can also happen like when we're tired. We're just like a little bit more like a bit catty, a bit reactive. That's lingering at the surface, and it's looking to pounce on people. The pain body is like a creature. It sounds kind of creepy, but it is. It's like gonna get you. Maybe you're feeling extra sensitive to things. Minor things are maybe provoking strong emotional reactions. The way that this works out for me is that like sometimes I can have just a really emotional week for like no reason. Maybe I just watch a mildly sad YouTube video and it just makes me cry and cry and cry. And I'm just purging. I'm just like letting it all out. You've got things like PMS, these like hormonal fluctuations that, just make us feel like life is terrible, blah, 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 blah. And we just have these crazy thoughts that if we identify with those thoughts can really ruin our day. If you're going to identify with that voice in your head, then you're going to believe what it's saying. However, if you're able to stand back and really sit as this witness, as this watching presence, and you see these crazy thoughts run through your mind, then you just laugh at them because they are just crazy. Yesterday you were all right. Today, your life is over. And you're literally looking at your entire life through this negative lens. And it seems so real. If you identify with the pain body, you don't realize you're in your pain body. And if you identify with those crazy thoughts, then of course it is really going to affect you and it's really going to ruin your day. You're going to have this resistance, this like kind of fundamental resistance that just makes it so much worse. You've also got things like the full moon. I don't actually think Tolle has ever mentioned that the pain body is linked to a full moon. This is my own theory. Maybe you guys can relate. Feeling a little bit extra sensitive around the full moon emotionally. And sometimes I can tell it's a full moon before it's even a full moon. Sometimes I breeze through full moons, feeling extra good. And then sometimes I'm like, wow, pain bodies on the surface big time. I actually used to work with ex-offenders, and we used to then work kind of closely with the police, and the police always used to come in and say, oh no, it's a full moon tonight, it's going to be a big heavy shift, everyone's going to be fighting and everything, and working with the people that I used to work with, they'd be a little bit unhinged on a full moon. It just kind of makes people go a bit crazy. Maybe sometimes the pain brings the pain body up. I don't know why this is. I think because the moon actually affects the water, or the moon affects the sea, doesn't it? So it affects the water, and then we're like 60% water or something. So who knows? Anyway, I'm going off on a big tangent right now. Regardless, that's just another example basically of how it can be very subtle and how you can miss it. You can miss that maybe it's at the surface. I don't know if there's any more that you can think of. The way I observe it actually is that I feel like everyone has patterns. The pain body sometimes works in patterns, not necessarily through time, but like in a sense of it manifests maybe in the same way. Like I can tell when my mum is in her pain body, for instance. So it works through people in different ways. You can probably recognize it in yourself, how the pattern kind of works for you. Who knows how long it's going to linger at the surface. If you are actively working on yourself, and you're putting this intention in to heal, then that's going to come up, because we're really putting that intention in to clear it. So that could be up for months. Sometimes for me it could just come up for an hour. It could come up for, as I say, a week, a couple of days. Who knows? So what to do when you identify the pain body? Congratulations, we've identified it now. What? So first things first, through the actual light of your awareness, you're already diminishing it. So, for example, the other day, I was in my pain body. It just felt like kind of negative. And I was like, fair enough. Well, I was just laughing at it. Like, I would look at the same flower. I actually went on the same walk that I did the day before when I wasn't in my pain body. And the same flower I looked at, the day before I looked at the flower and I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. Just had this, this commentary in my mind. Wow, beautiful flower. The second day, the mind said, oh, it's dying. I hadn't even noticed that the day before. Like, it's crazy how much you really see the world through your pain body, through the lens of your pain body. Like, it is clouding your world because it's working through your thoughts. It doesn't matter, though, if you don't identify with the thought. Who are you? Are you the one that is the thought, the thinker, or are you the seer of the thought? Are you the seer of the pain body? Because if you're the seer, then you realize that it's an illusion. And you realize that it's just temporary. And then it's going to go back down again, back to its dormant state. So awareness is so incredibly key. So that you can as well be more alert, actually be like, okay, so my pain body's at the surface, I'm probably going to be more reactive. When that person comes into the room that usually triggers you, but when you're not in the pain body, you're like able to just be fine about it. But then this time, you've got this kind of creature at the surface that's ready to pounce. So you need to be extra alert. Okay, watching my internal state, watching the sensations, as I keep saying, awareness is so key here so that you can really have that space, have that disidentification and see past the illusion. And of course, feeling it, actually allowing yourself to feel whatever it is you're feeling when it comes up. So you have this thought, maybe this memory or whatever. Yeah, you could sit there and journal and investigate that, but actually just sitting there and being like, okay, this is a sensation that I am experiencing. I'm going to feel it fully. Allow myself to actually process this pain that before I couldn't do. But now I'm conscious, now I'm aware, so now I can dissolve it, make this pain body lighter rather than actually perpetuate it through more thinking, through more, worrisome thoughts, repetitive negative looping, and then creating more negative emotion that's then just adding to the pain body. What are you going to do? Are you going to choose to allow your mind to go crazy and believe what it's saying? Or are you going to decide to realize, oh, okay, I am the watcher. I am the one that is still, that peacefully sees all of my life unfolding in front of me like a movie, not identifying with it. And instead just, allowing myself to actually watch that emotion, that temporary sensation, and feel it so that it moves through me. So when we are in our pain body, this is an opportunity. It's no longer a challenge. Well, it is a challenge, but it's a challenge that we can use to our benefit because we can actually de-energize the pain body. And to actually, diminish it by really actually claiming our mastery. Like you can be in this negative state. Like you could have those negative thoughts because at the end of the day, we are not in control of what thoughts pop out of nothingness in our awareness. Like anyone that's ever meditated will tell you that Thoughts just come out of nowhere. God knows where they come from. And so we have no control over that, of course. But we have plenty of control and mastery when it comes to actually accepting whatever is arising and just taking away the interest in it. Not believing it, seeing that bigger picture. So I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself a lot here, but whatever's being said needs to be said. And sorry if it sounds a little bit messy. But yeah, the fundamental point that I'm trying to get across here is just realize that you are in the pain body, essentially. Feel the sensation, allow whatever you're feeling to be felt, and disidentify from the thoughts as best you can. If you can't, accept that you can't. That's another key thing. It's just accepting that what you're feeling is normal. If you have another thought that says, I should be able to use my mastery more, I should be able to really navigate this situation more consciously, okay, that's another thought that you want to observe and not believe. If these past events and experiences are that actually contributed to the formation of the pain body, if they are coming back to the surface of your awareness, there's so many healing modalities that you can do where you can kind of use visualization to really rewrite these experiences, go back in time, bring all of that energy to the surface and allow yourself to feel it courageously, allow yourself to feel it and let it move through you. So many ways that you've got yoga, you've got energy work, breath work, loads of different types of things that you might feel inclined to do to really kind of soften the experience. Journal if you need to, but it really doesn't have to be that complicated if you don't want it to be. As long as you're allowing yourself to consciously move through the experience and not suppress the emotion that you're feeling, be honest with yourself, accept it without judgment, accept the past experiences and events without judgment, and really validate the emotions that you're having. Yes, just having this self-compassion, giving yourself a hug. Like you are awake, you are consciously navigating your pain body. Even if you're not consciously navigating your pain body and you're shouting and screaming at people, still just give yourself a hug, because you're only ever doing the best that you can. And if you're having thoughts of negativity, like negative self-talk, self-criticism, self-hate, that's again just your pain body working through your thoughts. I'm still hugging myself. So the last thing I wanted to touch on was mindfulness. Mindfulness, that's where we awaken the witness within us, really, isn't it? Because if we are present, if we are in the present moment, if we're not lost in our thoughts, then we're able to really have this kind of self-inquiry whereby we can see, well, hang on a minute, I can be aware without thinking. And sitting in this awareness, we then see that thought arise. We're like, oh, hang on a minute, so I'm not that thought. So that really begins to actually dissolve mind identification and create that space for you to recognize, have the presence within you to recognize, I'm in my pain body. Look at these thoughts that I'm experiencing. Look at these sensations within me. So practice presence, practice meditation, because that's going to really wake you up to what you are prior to the emotion, prior to the thoughts. So I think that is everything I wanted to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please let me know if you have any more, thoughts and experiences that you want to share, advice for people with this, with, work that you've done on navigating through your own pain body. And yeah, my name's Jasmine. Please like and subscribe. And I'm offering free 25-minute one-on-one sessions if you want to just chat with me. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye 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 bye.